What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Hitting the Field for one last time. I'm your host, Alex Funderburke. We have a great show for today. It's our season finale. I'm very sad. We're talking college football, NBA action. Stay tuned because Hitting the Field starts now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Rivalry week did not disappoint. Could we see Oklahoma State in the playoff, just like I said a few weeks ago and people call me insane? Coaching changes, a dumpster fire bowl in Gainesville. I cannot wait to get into this with my good friend Grant Wheeler, my good friend Kelly Campbell. Kelly, how are you doing?
You know, both my teams are bowl eligible. I didn't have the greatest weekend, but, you know, we move on. We look past.
Kenneth Walker in a snow bowl. Grant, how are you doing?
I didn't have the greatest weekend either. My Colts let me down yesterday. UCF, they beat USF, Michigan, Ohio State. What are you guys doing? Come on. Had a great Thanksgiving, though, and I'm ready to get the show on the road.
Hey, you said it. Ohio State did not play the best game, so let's jump right into that. I am a happy Alex because I hate Ohio State with my entire being. The only team I probably hate more than them is Notre Dame. But Michigan finally snapped their 8-game losing streak in the game. Cade McNamara did his job. He was a game manager. 13 of 19, 159 yards, one interception. But Hassan Haskins, my God, Ohio State could not stop him. 28 carries, 169 yards, 5 touchdowns. And I believe all 5 touchdowns came after 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Once that running game got going, it was wraps for Ohio State. Kelly, what were your takeaways from this game?
You know, honestly, I was waiting for Michigan to Michigan this year, like they always do. And I figured, okay, this is going to be the game. So I was not really pulling for Michigan. I don't like to see Jim Harbaugh do well. I don't like to see people in yellow do well. Not for me. It's not my speed. Anyways, I am disappointed in the 1 week I pull for Ohio State. They let me down. Camden, the one time I pull for them, but I mean, I guess I'm happy your team lost. I hate Jim Harbaugh. I'm not happy.
See, I'm very indifferent on Jim Harbaugh. Like, I don't have a strong opinion. I don't think he's a great coach.
He steals recruits by sleeping over with them, so.
I mean, that's not really stealing a recruit. That's just recruiting.
I just think sleeping over with 18-year-olds as a grown man.
It was a punter. Like,
who did bad, it's fine, but still.
It's a punter. He's trying to recruit. Coaches recruit weird ways. Grant, I just kind of learned you're a closeted Ohio State fan, and I'm liking you less now. But what went wrong for Ohio State?
Their offensive line was very undisciplined. Too many penalties, and C.J. Stroud was running for his life a lot. And their defense couldn't stop Hassan Haskins. They had no answer for him. Michigan's passing game didn't have to do much on Saturday. They just gave it to Haskins and let him do the dirty work. Again, this undisciplined football just simply didn't play well, and Jim Harbaugh, I guess, was finally able to beat Ohio State. And thanks, Paul Feinbaum, for jinxing the Ohio State Buckeyes.
All right, Grant has been on this Paul Feinbaum thing for like the last 3 days. Paul Feinbaum did not lose Ohio State that game.
He's the sweetest
A terrible
old
defensive
man.
line lost Ohio State that game.
No.
We can't blame a team of 18 to 22-year-olds on a 70-plus-year-old man who drinks his coffee plain with no sugar. We're not going to put that on him.
He has the worst takes.
I get it. I'm not a Paul Feinbaum fan either, but I'm not going to blame him for Michigan beating Ohio State. Props to Big Blue. If they beat Iowa, they're in the playoff. Look, if they're the 2 seed and they have to play Cincinnati, I like Cincinnati in that game. I think Cincinnati's strengths kind of match up with Michigan's weaknesses, and I like Cincy. But it is cool to see. It's weird because Michigan is that like blue blood program, but it's cool because it's a new face in the playoff.
I have a question for you.
Right.
Go for it.
If Iowa beats Michigan, the Big Ten, they won't get anyone in the playoff, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no way they're putting a 2-loss Ohio State team in.
They've done it before.
They have done it before.
They have.
I think this is a different year, though.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because we're finally going to see a kind of a new playoff. I think, like Kelly, what do you think here? I mean, if Bama loses, they're probably out, right? Because they're
And,
2 losses,
yeah,
right?
correct.
So we're going to get no Bama. We're
Right.
going to get no Clemson. Probably no Ohio State.
Right.
We're finally getting some new faces. No Oklahoma either.
Right.
It's like, how cool is that?
It's
Finally.
great. It's great. It's good to see the teams that have always just been right on the cusp getting to actually show their face this year. Sucks for me that it's Michigan and not Penn State. I really thought this was the year. But we see it in Georgia. Georgia is usually always right there. And they made the step this year. I don't know a better college football team right now than Georgia. I think when they play Bama this weekend, it's going to be interesting just because it's Nick Saban. He's going to have that fire under his butt. But Georgia just has that edge this year. Michigan, so do they, kind of. But I love seeing Cincinnati. I love seeing some representation from our conference, especially when we didn't get this treatment a few years ago when we were undefeated. So even though it's not us, I'm happy to see that we've gotten somewhere with the committee. I'm looking for an expansion. I think that's going to take some time, but I'm so happy to get some new faces in here. And because we're losing those big programs like Oklahoma, like Alabama, because it's 4 spots, committee's going to lose some money because those are the teams that have money. They travel well. They go where they play. They go where their team goes. They're going to go wherever it is because they can. So I think we have an expansion in the future because they're losing out on some money this year. People are going to travel, but it's not going to be their normal Ohio State, Alabama like usual.
I think money-wise, they're going to be fine. I mean, they're still going to have Michigan. They're still going to have Georgia. And in all likelihood, probably Oklahoma State. And that, albeit they don't get the respect, like, fan base-wise, but their fan base is a rabid fan base, too. They like to travel.
And Mike Gundy.
Hey, Mike Gundy is...
I'm a man. I'm 40.
He's a character.
I'm just saying, based on the playoff committee's
yeah.
obvious favoritism,
No, for sure.
they're going to miss their number ones.
And I have always said more games, more money.
Right.
So we're going to get that eventually because at the end of the day, that's what college sports
It
is about.
should be 8 teams.
See, my perfect playoff is you have 16 teams, all 10 conference winners make it, just like every other level of college football, and you got 6 at-large bids. But I want to jump into the Dumpster Fire Bowl, and I really just want to talk about this game because Florida hired a really good head coach that I like a lot, Billy Napier out of Louisiana. Jordan Travis is pretty good. I don't know what to talk about this game because it was kind of terrible. FSU whiffing on an onside kick made my day. I wanted both teams to lose. I don't want either of these teams in a bowl game. But Kelly, I mean, what do you think?
I mean, personally, I watched a little bit of that game going back and forth between Ohio State and Michigan. What I noticed is it was all Emory Jones. He played horribly that game. The fans were on him saying put in AR-15. They did put in AR-15. And what did he do? He went in for one play and hobbled off barely walking. And I go on Twitter and see people saying put him back in the game. Do you not want him for next season? Do you not want to risk him to barely beat Florida State and go to a crappy bowl game to have your star quarterback next season? That's stupid to me. Emory Jones has been here. He's been with the season. He was the only one doing anything productive for most of that game offensively. So that's my take. I think Florida fans need to be a little more appreciative because he's the reason they won that game. He threw 3 interceptions, and he's still the reason they won that game.
Yeah. Grant, do you have any takeaways from this game?
It's kind of sad that what it's come to now, the reward for winning this game is
Bowl eligible.
being bowl eligible. FSU finished 5-7, UF 6-6. This game was sloppy. Emory Jones 3 interceptions. Both these schools are not playing up to what they used to play to. Maybe because a lot of these high school prospects just don't want to play for Florida schools anymore. That's a problem because a lot of these Florida schools, again, they're just not playing to their potential. And again, this is an all-around sloppy game, and UF just happened to become bowl eligible. So congrats to them, but nothing really accomplishing from them.
Congrats, I guess.
Congrats on doing the bare minimum, Florida, especially with a roster like they have. But I do want to talk about their new head coach, Billy Napier, out of Louisiana. I mean, Billy Napier turned that program around, and they should be in the top 25 in the college football playoff rankings. He went 39-12, 2-1 in bowl games. I mean, Billy Napier, I think, is the guy for Florida. Will it be instant? No. They need time. Florida is a dumpster fire.
Will they give him time?
That's the thing. is these big programs don't like to
They
give
don't
their
like to
coaches
do
The
that.
back.
SEC, yeah, it's going to be like 1 or 2 years.
The
I
same
saw
thing-
something yesterday. In the SEC, since Nick Saban has been hired, there has been 61 head coaching changes since Nick Saban has been instilled at Alabama. 61. How many teams are in the SEC? 12?
14, 15.
Yeah.
Like, the same thing happened at Florida State with Willie Taggart. If you look at it through their tenures, Willie Taggart has one more win than Mike Norvell had. They didn't give Willie Taggart time. You give Willie Taggart time, I think he turns Florida State around. You
He's doing great at FAU.
Right? If you give Billy Napier time, he'll turn this around. But quickly, guys, I want to talk about Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State finally broke through and beat Oklahoma, for the first time since 2014. Spencer Sanders, stud. 214 passing yards, 93 rushing yards.
2 picks, though.
2 picks. Didn't end up costing them. 2 total touchdowns. I mean, and Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma's head coach, is now at USC. Grant, do you think this is going to turn bedlam now? Do you think this is Oklahoma State's series now? Lincoln Riley's gone. They're going to lose seemingly their entire recruiting class now. Oklahoma State's there now. They might make the playoff if they win on Saturday. Do you think this is Oklahoma State's rivalry now?
I think so. Again, Oklahoma just lost Lincoln Riley. It's a big strength of their program. Recruiting-wise, they're going to go down now. Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, he's a model of consistency. He's been there for years. I think they're going to take the next step and finally show Oklahoma who the real daddy is.
Yeah, so this is, believe it or not, Oklahoma's first head coaching search since 1999 when they hired Bob Stoops. Bob Stoops chose Lincoln Riley to take over after. Kelly, what do you think about Oklahoma State, though? I mean, I'm a genius. I said they were going to make the playoff.
Right.
If they win on Saturday, they're in.
I love to see it, actually. Oklahoma has been bothering me this season with their small wins, with their tiny successions, being ranked in the, top 4 until last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see them finally out of the contention because they deserve to be from a long time ago. So Oklahoma State played amazing. They showed exactly why they deserve a shot at the playoffs. And I think if they do well, and they play Baylor this weekend, right? If they beat Baylor to the ground, because Baylor has played some very good football against some very good teams this year, I think it'll prove to the committee to give them a shot and get them in, get them going. I mean, I'm excited to see the possibility. It's one, like you said, one of those new faces. So I'm happy.
Yeah, and look, we're going to cut the commercial. Army just dropped the Army-Navy uniforms, so I'm looking at that during the commercial break. Go Army, beat Navy. We're going to commercial. NBA talk when we come back.
I'm in charge of the meeting this week. So you know what we're going to talk about? Basketball. The second thing we're going to talk about this week is basketball. Okay? And the third and last thing we're going to talk about is basketball.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I want to quit. Can I quit? Take that.
Look at the screen. What are we talking about this week?
Basketball.
Now I am joined by Ross, and Grant is still here. We're going to talk some
Always.
NBA action because this is Ross's last show before he graduates. I'm pretty sad about it. Ross, how you feeling, dog?
Feeling real sad. It's been 2.5 years that I've been here. Love talking basketball. They've let me talk football maybe once. That didn't go very well, so that was the end of that era. But very excited to be here, talk basketball for the last time on HTF. Love being here. So ready to get into it.
Let's get into it. And I want to talk about Fight Night. LeBron versus Isaiah Stewart 2.0. The Lakers came out on top. Grant, I get that this game is not supposed to be interesting.
It's not meaningful, really.
It's the Pistons and the Lakers. But given the circumstances of the fight,
Well, this fight just happened recently, so it's interesting that they're playing like almost like a back-to-back in a way. I know it's like a couple of days ago or a week ago, so a lot of beef in history is still there. But Isaiah Stewart, you're like a second or first-year guy. You're no LeBron James. LeBron James is a 6'9", 250-pound freak. He's gonna be all over you all day. I would not mess with a guy like LeBron James. Just saying that right now.
yeah, so Ross, Isaiah Stewart, LeBron James, 1v1, not basketball,
Oh, yeah, no, not bad.
hand throwing.
Hand throw.
Throwing hands.
Who are you
MMA.
taking? Who are you taking?
Well, first, I got to say, this was like a dream came true for me. You know, I'm an MMA fan and I'm an NBA fan, so this was a little bit of both. Listen, they're both athletic freaks. One's 6'8", 250. Isaiah Stewart, I believe, I think LeBron's 6'8", 6'9", 250. Isaiah Stewart, 6'8", 250. Got to give it to the wily vet, man. LeBron's going to be out here throwing hands. He's been here longer. I am 2 years older than Isaiah Stewart.
We're all older than Isaiah Stewart.
I can't fight Isaiah Stewart. I can't fight LeBron James. But I'm taking the Cleveland-born bronzer. And I'm not talking about Jake Paul, okay? We're taking LeBron James any day.
Look, wow. Did not think we were getting a Jake Paul reference on the show.
Jake Paul's not a real fighter, though.
Thanks, Ross.
Fair enough.
I'm taking LeBron too if it's hand-to-hand combat. Is there anything else you really want to talk about from this game, or can we get into the real fight night?
I mean, the only thing I got to say is Isaiah Stewart's plus-minus was -16. LeBron's was +14. So you got to put some respect on LeBron's name still, little man, all right? That's what we're doing. This is LeBron's team. You're just a second-year player. Relax. I'm sure Adam Silver gave him the big boy call after that game saying,
Hey.
are you aware of who you're about to hit? I don't know if you're aware of who this is.
Hey, that's LeBron.
Don't do it.
Don't do
That's
that.
LeBron.
He's the face of the
Don't
league.
do
It's
that.
LeBron James.
Because we didn't see any of that behavior last night, and I don't think we're ever going to see that from
Also,
Isaiah Stewart unless he wants to be playing in like the third league in Colombia or something.
I'll say this: the Lakers gotta find identity, though.
Oh,
That's a serious note. Like they gotta find themselves, or else they're gonna be, deep in the West all season long.
Oh yeah.
Look, okay, we're going to get into a different fight night.
Oh, yeah.
The Morris twins versus the Jokic brothers. I mean, you're the Heat fan, Ross. The Nuggets and the Heat play tonight, right?
Yep, tonight.
All right, I'm
two.
going to give you the floor. Yeah. Do you think something is going to happen tonight? And what do you think, game-wise, like in the actual game, what do you think is going to happen?
I think I'm going to have to – I think the Heat win the game, right? We don't know if Jimmy's playing. We don't know if Tyler's playing. The Heat have been questionable all year, but I know who's not playing is Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray. I'm taking the Heat on a basketball level. I think anyone would pick them. But who cares about that? We're talking fight night. The Morris twins versus the Jokic brothers. I don't think anything's going to happen tonight. The game's in Miami. He's still recovering from whiplash. I've never even heard of this injury being out for 12 games, but he's still out for whiplash. He won't be playing. I hope Marcus Morris, I don't know if the Clippers are playing tonight, but if they could take a flight over and maybe be in the crowd, I would love to see it. But I think nothing happens. At most, they'll put Udonis Haslem in garbage time as they always do, and he'll just send him an elbow right to the face of Jokic, which would never condone violence, Alex. I personally would never condone violence.
Sure.
But if UD were to make it happen,
You're going to turn a blind eye, is what
oh
you're
yeah,
saying.
big blind eye.
Big blind eye. Just
Oh yeah.
Big.
But I got the Morris twins over the Jokic brothers any day.
If we're talking
I don't care about MMA fights.
Dog, if we're talking hand fighting, I'm scared of the Jokic brothers, man.
They're from
They're
Serbia.
Serbia. You don't mess with them. They're
I don't know
serious
where
guys.
the Morris brothers from. It doesn't matter.
You
Dog.
don't mess with those Eastern European guys.
The Jokic brothers threw knives at Jokic, Nikola Jokic.
We're not talking
for fun.
knives. We're not talking.
They're a different
knives,
breed.
all right?
That's different, bro.
The Morris twins are different.
No, the Morris
No.
twins
Picking
are
the
very
Morris.
different.
But Jokic is about that. He's about that.
Jokic is.
Yes,
Jokic,
he is.
Hold on.
He's about
Nikola
that.
Jokic is not about that.
Yes, he is.
The
He's
brothers are.
The brothers are.
All
Nikola's
right, the question is, would he be
The
about
bloodline's
that
there.
if his brothers were not sitting in the stands right there?
No.
No. The answer is no. Morris brothers.
They're
don't
about
know.
that no matter
We don't
what.
know, though. We don't know.
They're-
find out.
We're going to find out tonight. I mean, but look, Nikola Jokic, bro, you're soft. You're soft.
Teddy bear.
Teddy bear.
A little teddy bear.
Why are you attacking people from behind?
Bet you won't do that. Bet you won't do that when he's not looking.
Exactly.
I want to see him take
Yeah.
on Jimmy Butler.
He's not going
You don't want to do that. I want you.
You
That'd be
don't
fucking
want
sick.
the Jimmy Butler smoke.
No one.
Jimmy Butler's about that, but I
That's
think
coffee
so
maker
is
in the
Jokic.
NBA.
They're both about that. That's why I want to see
Jokic is
it.
not
Jokic
about
I think he
that.
is.
anything.
I think he is.
How? He's a soft teddy bear,
Listen,
bro.
I
Big
can
boy
hit
from
anyone
Serbia.
when they're not looking
Big
and
boy
say
from
I'm
Serbia.
super tough. But if you're willing to look Markieff Morris in the face and hit him, I don't condone it, but I respect it. To do it when he's not looking in the back, I'm like, what I do? He gave me a little
But
shoulder.
Markieff had it coming, though. He had it
He
coming.
gave him a shoulder push. They give a shoulder push in every NBA game. I'm sorry, this is what happens. You can't hit someone when they're not looking. If you're really that tough, you'll hit him when he's looking. If you're that upset about it. You don't hit someone in the back. I never will agree with that in any circumstance, in any sport. Absolutely not. I don't understand it. Sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, Jokic, he's that boy again. I'm gonna keep saying that. Like, I know
he's
it
super
looked
talented.
dirty. It looked dirty. I understand that, but maybe he just
There's a difference between
lost his mind there for a
between
second. I don't know.
A little bit of a dirty play, a little shoulder shrug. I'm not saying he probably should have gotten a flagrant one or maybe even kicked out for that. I'm not even mad at that. But there's the little push where it's like, oh, he'll be fine. It'll just be a little rustling, and then hitting someone in the back with an elbow, making him out for 12 games and affecting his neck. It could have been way worse. What if he hits the floor head first and has a concussion, has brain damage?
Yeah, that's true.
There's just a limit to what you're willing to do. And they say, oh, he saw it coming. I don't think that's allowable in any circumstance. But UD, you know what to do tonight. You don't get that many minutes. You got to do what you can with them.
Old man UD.
Oh,
But
yeah.
let's jump into some fun now. Golden State, they seem to be back, man. They are, and they're only going to get better. They get Klay Thompson and Wiseman back seemingly pretty soon. Ross, did you think Golden State was going to be this back without those two people?
I wish I was smart enough to say yes, and I wish I'm smart enough to say, of course I knew this, Alex. I'm the basketball guy.
The basketball guy.
If given the opportunity preseason, I would have been saying they would have been a probably around 500 team scratching for the 7th or 8th seed. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not that brilliant. I'm surprised. I'm happy, but I'm surprised. Steph Curry is still, in my opinion, he's arguably the best player in the NBA right now, best player in the world. KD's looking less and less, and Steph just isn't missing shots, and they're going to get better. Listen, I don't think there's an NBA fan in the entire world that's not excited for Klay Thompson to come back. It's been 2 years without arguably the second greatest shooter, third greatest shooter of all time. And James Wiseman's a young player that seemed to be developing at the second half of last season. I think they're going to be great. They're going to be in the G League. I think they just got assigned. Whatever G League team plays them, prayers to you.
God bless.
Thoughts and
to you.
prayers.
But listen, man, they're going to be good. They're a defensively stout team. Obviously, they have the shooting, and Steve Kerr's offense works when it works. And if they're hitting shots, they're going to be very dangerous in the playoffs. Very, very dangerous.
They're back. The Warriors are back.
The Warriors are back. Grant, do you think that this team can take the Western Conference?
Yes, I do. Steph Curry is firing on all cylinders right now. Klay Thompson's not even back yet. This Warriors team is back to being the Warriors from 2015 to 2019. You still have Draymond Green. You still have Steve Curry. You still have most of the gang there. James Wiseman is still developing. He's going to continue to progress. This Warriors team, watch out. They're 18-2. They're going to continue to progress as the season goes on. They're going to continue to get better. As the playoffs come, they're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed. And boy, oh boy, they're going to be a tough out.
Steph is on pace to shatter his three-point record by 43s. The man is insane right now. He's hitting 9.8 three-pointers a game. That is.
He's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, and it's weird. It almost, this season really goes to show we never hated the Warriors. We didn't like Kevin Durant. Because everyone seems to be a Warriors fan right now. Everyone seems to enjoy it. You can't watch this brand of basketball and think, well, this is not fun. I don't like this team. Man, this team's great. I don't know if they end up winning it, but they're going to make it a tough out for anyone that plays them.
It's going to be really hard to beat this Warriors team.
The Suns might have a chance, but right now it's
I don't
like
see.
Golden State.
I'm gonna be honest. Come playoff time, you got to beat this team 4 times in 7 games.
It's gonna be tough to do.
I don't see it. Right now, I'm picking the Warriors to win.
That could be
it
your
all.
Western Conference final, though.
It's Suns Warriors for sure.
Chris Paul is, of course, going to have to run into
We are gonna have to cut it to commercial. When we come back, first I want to thank these two for being on. But when we come back after this break, we're gonna honor Ross one last time on Hitting the Field. Stay with us.
Episode of Hitting the Field, we will be joined by Heath Gately. Then later on, rookie Ross Bernstein and Hitting the Field vet Kyle Partain to talk about some hoops and a new football league. This is Hitting the Field. Welcome back to Hitting the Field. Joining me on set to talk about some NBA All-Star action and more is Hitting the Field vet Kyle Partain and our rookie over here, Ross Bernstein. Ross, how excited are you for your debut?
Very excited to talk sports with my man Kyle. I'm going to talk about some basketball, All-Star Weekend. Super excited to be here. It's going to be awesome. They called him lead GM for a reason, and this is a good reason. Welcome to Hitting the Field special NBA preview show. I'm your host, Jeremy Brenner, and today we are going to break down everything NBA for a full hour. Ross, how good do you expect this Raptors team to be?
I expect them to be an average team. I mean, Kyle Lowry's not a bad player. Pascal Siakam is getting better every year. They have Fred VanVleet. They have a lot of good players. I am doing great. How are you doing today, Tyler?
All right.
John, what's that?
One answer is what we're looking for. Name the 6 NFL teams with more than 3 Super Bowls.
I got my hand on the bottom. My hand's
No,
on the bottom.
I hit the
I have my hand on the bottom.
first.
I have my hand on the bottom. You know my hand's on the bottom.
It's who hits
You know
the
my hand's on the
button,
bottom.
bro. No, this is.
Welcome back. Now we have Ross Bernstein here today to talk NBA, his favorite topic to possibly talk about. Now, Ross, how are you feeling today?
Groovy, baby. I'm here to strictly talk about Miami Heat basketball 99% of the time, and I will
I'm okay
not
with that.
change that. We are going with Bam Adebayo.
This is Ross, and he's apparently the director.
I'm the assistant director to Johnny Jackson.
10.
Under shadow today.
9.
Johnny, who's actually doing work.
7. 6.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined now by Ross Bernstein, our resident NBA guy around HTFN. Ross, how are you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good, solid Sunday night. Fantasy team struggling a little bit as usual. Not going to get into that too much, but I think the obvious answer is James Harden, right? Half of his points seem to come from the free throw line, if not more. He's a flopper, probably by his own volition. I think he would admit that. He gets a lot of points and a lot of foul calls because he is a superstar.
I mean, to be fair,
All right, we started.
Watson's probably not going to play football.
Austin, can you hear me, by the way? I'm the director, okay? I'm a big deal. I watched Johnny an hour ago, and I'm doing Johnny's job, okay?
Are you gonna do it well?
We're asking for a lot now. Austin, can they hear your countdown, or do you need me to count down?
Make sure they.
I plead the fifth on why we're so behind.
Did something else happen, Ross?
No, everything's good.
Why? What's wrong?
I'll tell Johnny later.
Did you do something wrong?
I mean, I didn't do something right. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
It's time to get sad. Welcome back. We're now joined by Hitting the Field executive producer Johnny Jackson, and Ross is still here. Johnny, I'm gonna let you go first. I just want you to say whatever you want, and then I'll talk to Ross.
Business side first, Ross. On behalf of Hitting the Field Network, I want to thank you for everything you've done for this program. Whenever we needed someone to hype up the Miami Heat organization, you've always been someone we can rely on to give informed takes, even if they're horrendous, to make our shows even better. Thank you for arguing with Troy. Thank you for everything you've done. And Ross, on behalf of me, it's the part I have not been looking forward to since we talked last week. I still remember the first HTF meeting I came to. It was me, you, Jeremy Brenner, Jarrett, John Whitley, and Connor Dowd, and Colin Smith. I remember I got lost, and I remember this vividly. So Ross was actually the first person in this program to call me an idiot.
Won't be the last.
I don't think I ever told him how much it meant to me that he was just in my head calling me an idiot. It made me feel like I belonged because it was my second or third week in college. I didn't know that many people. I didn't have that many friends. And Ross, I just want to thank you so much for everything you've done for me and this program. I mean, Ross was there at my birthday. He sang the most beautiful rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody at Aloha Beautiful I think I've ever seen. And you've been here longer than I have, even though I can't do math, and I thought it was the same time for a second.
Close enough, Johnny.
My Jewish brother, thank you. I know we didn't get to go on Birthright, but
We still got a shot. We got to
we got a
25.
shot.
We got time.
Until 25?
Why not?
Okay.
What are you going to do?
Ross, thank you so much for being a part of this program. You're going to do great things. And if you ever need anything at all, no matter how big, how small, let me know.
It's very sad.
I'll move heaven and earth for you.
This is sad. Ross, I want to thank you. You've always been someone who brings the energy, I pride myself on being someone that brings the energy to the program, and you kind of showed me how to do that. You're someone who's not afraid to give their bad opinions about the Heat. But no, thank you for everything. I mean, you've been here since I've been here, and you've always made me feel welcome. So I appreciate you for that. Now I want to give you the floor. Say anything you want to say on your last show.
I think I got to first start by thanking everyone here. This is all my family. This is the best experience I've had in all of college. It was the best decision I ever made to bring it back to where it started. I remember I was a student at Santa Fe University in Gainesville. I didn't like it. I didn't want to be there, much like Taylor Anderson. Don't love that place whatsoever. And I wanted to transfer. I called a dear friend of mine, Jeremy Taché, who we all know starts the show, and he's like, I love UCF. No one is a bigger UCF fan than Jeremy Taché. And he said, join Hitting the Field. I said, I'm a business student. I'm not a Nicholson student. And he's like, do you know sports? I'm like, somewhat. And that was it. I started. I think I emailed either Kyle Graham or Anthony. And that was beginning of everything. I mean, I was probably a very shy person when I first got there, which I don't think anyone would call me a shy person here now. No. But I was shy, and they made me feel so welcome. They allowed me to talk sports. Sadly, they made me talk football, but like I've said before, that was the end of that. I just can't say anything about everyone here that like no one said before. This is a family. This is the nicest, best people I've ever met. No one loves sports more. If you think you love sports, you got to join Hitting the Field if you're at UCF. I have really nothing else that I could add without crying. I don't want to cry on camera.
I think you should cry. I think you should cry. I'm tearing up. I'm
I know.
tearing up.
I can't look at you, Johnny. Once we lock eyes, all just emotions come through.
Ross, look me in the eyes and say your next piece. Look at my tears that have already formed.
Johnny, I love you so much, and you know that, right? I let Johnny sleep on my couch in a banana suit. He came in my room, and I was in my underwear. I said, good morning, Johnny. And I walked him out of my house. That was one of, I think, my best college memories. Seeing a banana at 8 a.m. as we were both pretty hungover. Over 21, of course. Why not? But yeah, it's going to be sad not talking sports. I'm going to have to just debate with random people on, I guess, not Twitter, because they know I don't have a Twitter. So I'm going to have to just call you guys, FaceTime me in, and I can tell you why Bam Adebayo is the best defensive player in the NBA and will continue to be the best defensive player in the NBA. And when the Heat win the championship this year, I will send a FaceTime video immediately telling you all you're wrong. I don't really have anything else. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to cry, but I love you guys. I really can't say anything. Well,
there you go.
I've never had the opportunity to do this.
It's right there in the prompter. Go for it.
That's all for this show and this season of Hitting the Field. I want to thank everyone who watches this semester, and most important, the countless people behind the scenes who make me and whatever guests we have look and sound pretty. It was a fun season. I'll be
back next semester for one last ride. Have a safe holiday season. I'll see y'all in January. Peace.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the mat.